This breaks all sociological orders of the culture we're living in now. Because we are raising up women to be men. And you are not applauded for your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you are climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families. I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house. But until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away. Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk back to me this morning.
Oh man, what was that? That TDJ saying that type of stuff, man. I had to rub my eyes. I thought Kevin Stan was born alive again. But what is going on with these pastors? Pastor Clifford Dollar rescinding a lot of his teaching on tithing, and now TDJ, he started talking like Kevin Stan was. Now you know TDJs must have been binging on some Kevin Stan to start talking like that again. But let's go ahead and play that video again.
This breaks all sociological orders of the culture we're living in now. Because we are raising up women to be men.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Come on, Pastor.
And you are not applauded for your femininity. You are applauded in the contemporary society by how tough, rough, nasty, mean, aggressive, hateful, possessive you are, and you are climbing the corporate ladder, but we are losing our families. I know you can buy your own car. I know you can buy your own house. But until you create a need that I can pour into, I have no place in your life. So stop coming home bragging to me about how much you don't need me and wonder why I shy away.
Uh-oh.
Oh, y'all ain't gonna talk back to me this morning.
No, we ain't gonna talk about it, sir. Oh man, what's up, guys? That was fun nigga around me. Oh man, here we go.
I'm a PhD.
Oh, Team Jakes.
I have a glandular problem.
What's up, guys? That was fun nigga around me with another video, and today we gotta talk about TD Jakes. A lot of these pastors at one time were calling Kevin Samuels a fake prophet, a fake preacher, a fake whatever. All these guys were saying, don't listen to Kevin Samuels. Because at one time, these pastors, what they were doing is just pandering to the women. And that's how they had a lot of women stay in the church and support them by pandering. They just realized that when Kevin Samuels came on the scene, that you can make money for telling the truth. The cold, harsh truth. Kevin Samuels became popular because of telling the cold, harsh truth with no chaser, no watering down, giving it to you straight up. Now you got all these people out here trying to imitate Kevin Samuels so then they can get the same amount of money. Look at TDJ. Look, I've been since Kevin Samuels passed away from hypertension. I've been binge watching Kevin Samuels from work all the way back home, and right now I've watched 11 months worth of content from Kevin Samuels. He has over 800 videos. So there's a lot of content out there on Kevin Samuels. So I've been binge watching, and I know I'm not the only one that's been binge watching Kevin Samuels. A lot of these pastors who were making fun of Kevin Samuels are watching Kevin Samuels at home. And then look, you must have had a slip up. TD Jakes must have had a slip up. All this time pandering to women, all of a sudden he went beast mode and started changing the story. Who knows what happened, man? He slipped up and then started saying something else, and now I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe they're gonna try and cancel TD Jakes, but no. Everybody knows now that they've been watching Kevin Samuels in secret, and everything is coming up to fruition. You got a lot of these haters, people that hated Kevin Samuels, like Kendra G at one time, popular broadcaster on the radio. She was hating on Kevin Samuels, but look at her content now, guys. She's done online dating, and she have men and women call in, and all she does is correct the delusional men and women for what they want. The same thing Kevin Samuels was talking about. Huh? The same thing Kevin Samuels was talking about. Let's talk about Dr. Umar. The same guy Dr. Umar was making fun of Kevin Samuels about y'all don't need to listen to him. Y'all the queens. Y'all the queens. Y'all the queens. And he always said that, don't listen to Kevin Samuels, man. He's too harsh. He's not telling the truth. And look at that. As soon as Kevin Samuels passes away, the next day he changes his story and talking about that. Not all queen. Not all are queen. And he likes his talking three. Not all are queens. Some of y'all have to get rid of this ratchet behavior. And look at this. Pete Seamoss, Cookie Crumble guy talking about, Afunde, black women is queen, and now changing his tune. Right? And then now you got more people like Saint and the Sinner. He was making videos talking about Kevin Samuels is a fake, a fraud, and he wanted to expose him for not being a real businessman. And look what he does. 2 days later, after Kevin Samuels passed away, he starts having a woman call-in show. So many YouTuber influencers that were hating on Kevin Samuels are now recreating what he is making and trying to package it as their own thing so then they can go on YouTube and make some money. But you see some of this fake stuff going on. And then you see he must have had a slip up. Now you start talking like Kevin Samuels. It's too late for that now. Come on now. So many people are getting exposed. Even Big Shirley, right? Big Shirley? So he had to come out as a church leader that, Kevin Samuels was not lying. He wanted to wait until he passed away to tell them. And that, a lot of times they don't give their flowers while they're alive. They wait till they pass away and they say, that nigga Shaw was crazy, but he was telling the truth. Oh, man. So that's what's going on now. See, a lot of these haters, a lot of these people trying to hate on them. But guys, let's go back into the story, man. Let's go in. Y'all need to say that, you follow Kevin Samuels' doctrine. TDJ goes Kevin Samuels on black women. Oh boy. you know you're gonna get canceled.
Oh my God!
You're mean and men have no place in your life. Woo! I know you didn't say that.
Oh my God!
It's gonna be almost impossible to cancel TDJ. Like everybody knows TDJ, so it's not gonna work. You might as well just keep going with this Kevin Samuels because he's probably very close to Kevin Samuels. If he wanted to, he could be the next Kevin Samuels. He's already got a large woman following, telling the truth, and they will follow you all the way through because they need to hear the truth instead of this pandering gospel that's being handed out by these Christian pastors. Top Christian pastor, TDJ, making some very controversial statements about modern black women, and it's causing quite a stir in the Christian community. Of course, bunch of them in the front seat are probably Big Shirley's. All in the front seat, listening to all this nonsense.
I have a glandular problem.
See, a lot of the reason why black women can't get black men is because they're too busy being a man. That's why they can't get a man. They're too busy being a man. They don't want to put the dick away and let the man get into a masculine frame and find a man that's actually masculine, not find a beta male orbiter that they'll take that they can control and won't let him be the man of the house. And that's a lot of stuff that Kevin Samuels was teaching helped a lot of men. Just don't simp. This is the gospel of Kevin Samuels. Thou shalt not simp. Thou shalt tell the truth to women, and thou shalt not date Big Shirley's. Those are the 3 commandments Kevin Samuels had. He probably had others, but we'll compile some more later on. Many of pastors, longtime followers, most of them are black women, are upset with the latest sermon. Many are saying that the message sounded more like something coming out of the mouth of Kevin Samuels. Because come on, he's been binge watching Kevin Samuels in private, in secret, and he had to slip up, and he just went with it. So, hey man, if he's gonna start teaching like that, I'll start tuning in on TD Jake. They're gonna see a lot of black men start to tune in on TD Jake if he starts talking like this and correcting delusional black women, because most of the ministry of these Christian pastors is all about correcting delusional black men, but it never comes after women because that's where their money comes from. But if Kevin Samuels can make millions of dollars correcting delusional black women, all of these pastors now will say that there's a market for this. There's a vacuum of people that need this information. So TD Jakes, probably along with other pastors, are going to say, man, I can make money off of this. And they're going to get into this. He then went on to further blame black women and not black men for failures in our families. It's so true. The number one killer of black people is the black women. In the last 50, 60 years of abortion, black women have killed more black people than there are alive in US of A. They've killed 50 to 60 million black babies. That's more than the population of black people in the US of A, in the United States. So they have to get more recognition for that. So Kevin Samuels. That's why TD Jakes was saying that we need to correct these women because what happened in the last 50, 60, 70 years has gone crazy. It really has gone crazy. And we need to correct this type of behavior, this feminism ideology. And a lot of people want to hate on Clarence Thomas, the Supreme Court judge who overturned Roe versus Wade. He contributed to that. But that man alone saved, in the next 50 or 60 years, more than 50 million black people. Nobody in black history has saved more people than Clarence Thomas will and is already saving right now. And they hate on him because he's doing the right thing. He's saving, because right at one time black people were a majority and now we're a minority because of black on black violence and also abortion. But the number one killer is that middle passage in between the legs, that middle passage. That's what killing more black people than anything else. And he needs to stop shying away from these hard topics and get to the truth of the matter. He needs to get right into it. But let me read this one comment that really stands out by S. Picks or Harry Midget. He said, nothing wrong at all, and black women are just salty as usual. When they get called out, they always start rewriting history. They were never abandoned. Their high marriage rate before feminism of 1965, 85% of us were married, black women and black men, which is now down to 32% of us getting married, and half of those in divorces. So really, one in 10 black women are actually married. After 50, 60 years, thanks to feminism, at one time, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 of black women were married. Now, 50, 60 years later, thanks to feminism, is down to 15%. And I guess with feminism, as it keeps going, in the next 40, 50 years, marriage will be obsolete. Obsolete. That's my prediction. Obsolete. Like it will be something rare, especially in the black community. So he goes on to say they traded black men for welfare, right? Baby mama support, yep, and feminism. I don't need no man. Ever since then, they began antagonize men, promote thought culture, blame men for the result of their own poor decisions, which is true. They go out and they pick the gangster to have a baby with. The gangster leaves them before they even get to the maternity ward because 50% of y'all show up to the maternity ward with no man to sign a birth certificate. So you already knew the guy was not a father before you even had sex with him. So a lot of y'all need to stop that nonsense about the guy left me right after it. Because you already knew before you even gave birth to the baby, you knew the guy was not going to stay with you. But this is a poor decision these black women make. And then 20 years later, after that, they come back on these social media platforms saying that niggas ain't shit, black men are terrible. It's because they only want to pick the bad man, the bad boy to procreate with. They don't want to pick the average black men, the 50-60% of us that have a car, a house. They don't want to procreate with us. They want to go for the 10% gangster and then come on here and try and badmouth black men. Then, because you see a lot of these bad men, they have more than one child. They have six, 7, 8 children. That doesn't matter to them. That NBA young boy has 7 children. They're like, oh, I still want to have a baby with him. And there's so many other average value men that you could have went with. You can only see that in our community. And then it goes sleeping with gang members, worshiping ball players, and becoming single mom as a result because of the poor decision. Then they came thick culture. No other group woman prides himself on obesity, which is true. 50-60% of black women are obese and they won't do nothing about it. You know, they're the black women that always want the tall, thin, and slim, tall, dark, and handsome black man. But then when there's a big black guy and he wants tall, thin, and slim, then they all get upset. Look at Lizzo. Lizzo does not want to get a black man that looks like Lizzo, that weighs 300-400 pounds. Lizzo only wants to have a tall, thin, and slim, but she doesn't want to be what she wants to get. So black women do their best, at least feminine and impossible to get along with. Yes. And always black men's fault when they can get any other race. They're unreceptive constructive criticism, but they sure love telling you what's wrong with them. And they're only getting away because of the government. The government is setting up all these traps with the child support, telling them that they can't have a man in the house if we're giving you funding, and then they're telling you that they get alimony to come after them. There's so many traps. That's why guys are shying away from marriage. Anyways, guys, what do y'all think, man? Leave your comments down below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.